What's up, YouTube? It's Coach Cory, and today we're going to go over the best and worst brawlers for Showdown. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to rank every single brawler from 1 to 19 specifically for how good they are in Showdown. And just because it's at the bottom of the list doesn't mean you can't win with it. And I do want to say, I feel like Showdown is pretty different depending on your trophy level. There's much more teaming as you go up, and that definitely affects my ranking. So keep that in mind. And let's start out all the way at 19. And this is going to be really the only brawler I would recommend never to use in Showdown, and that's Piper. Piper, pretty much the only time she was good in Showdown was when people weren't invincible at the start, and that was her best part of Showdown, was she could snipe people right away. But she hasn't been able to do that since the most recent update, and she just is not good in Showdown. She can't really get elixir, and if anyone wants to kill her, they're going to be able to outdamage her if they want to. All she can really do is run away and team with people. So Piper's really bad in Showdown. I would recommend not using her. Okay, and at 18, we have El Primo. El Primo just underwhelming as far as comparing to other tanks. He has to go in a lot of close range situations, and he pretty much loses versus most all of the other tanks. Any shotgun, Shelly, they all can outdamage El Primo fairly easily. He has more health, but that's really the only advantage he has, and this meta is very ranged and mid-range focused, and El Primo just isn't able to compete with those brawlers. All he can really do is hope to surprise people. You can definitely use him in Showdown for sure, but he's not that great. That's all I would really say about El Primo. Alright, but now at 17, this brawler I wouldn't really recommend using, but you can, is Bo. Bo, to me, has a good amount of health, is able to survive situations, but when push comes to shove, Bo cannot win those 1v1s, doesn't have enough damage, not consistently, unless he has more elixir. Really just not a great matchup versus most other brawlers with Bo. He can deal with some throwers and long range okay if he's able to get some chip shots, but a lot of those guys can still easily outdamage him. So I really would not recommend using Bo. And now at 16, another brawler that you can use in Showdown, but I'm probably not recommending, is Jessie. Jessie definitely a lot better after the recent balance changes, but really Jessie is not threatening enough. If someone really wants to kill Jessie and is in close range to Jessie, well, let's put it this way, Jessie is really easy to betray, as is not able to deal a ton of damage fast, and even if you put a turret down, someone can still outdamage you. Maybe you kill them from the grave, but let's be real, that may be a little bit satisfying, but it's not helping your trophies. Jessie, just not enough damage when it really comes to it, and not enough health either. Alright, and now let's go over 15 and 14 at the same time, as, well, they're both tanks. 15 is Daryl, 14 is Bull. Tanks are just definitely down in the meta right now. These guys are definitely usable. They're good in certain situations. They're as tanks, they can use their auto aim in the grass and definitely kill people pretty well, but in a lot of situations they're basically forced to hiding, and a lot of people don't like teaming with Bull or Daryl except at really high trophies. So these guys are just not the most usable, especially compared to before. You can definitely succeed with them unlike some of the brawlers before them, but they're still not great brawlers in Showdown overall. And at 13, we have Nita. Nita definitely has some redeeming qualities, able to hit multiple boxes at once, can hit through boxes to force enemies away. Definitely a good thing in Showdown, but the main thing Nita is lacking is damage. Nita has a fast reload speed, and if Nita out-elixir someone, can out-damage them, but otherwise it can be a little hard. Has to get a lot of chip shots and hope they're not landing a lot of shots. Nita just doesn't have the immediate damage needed to be really good in Showdown, but it's definitely not bad. Has, as I said, those redeeming qualities like earlier, and a decent amount of health. And at 12, we have Pam. Pam definitely has been a lot stronger lately than before. 4 has gotten a couple damage buffs to become pretty good in a lot of different cases. Definitely a force to be reckoned with if you're not careful. Pam can deal a decent amount of damage. It's a little bit slow going though, so isn't great, but Pam has a lot of health, so that definitely is a really good factor with Pam. It's hard to get great use out of her super sometimes, as you may be able to charge it up once or twice throughout a match, maybe 3 times if you're doing really well, but otherwise you're not going to have a lot of chances to use her turret effectively. You basically just have to stay there, and you have to sort of maybe place it so it's far enough ahead that the poison doesn't kill it, but then maybe it's not getting the same value you want. So Pam definitely has a lot of decent qualities, but isn't great. And now at 11, we have a brawler who counters tanks really well and is a bit of an in-betweener, and that's Shelly. Shelly able to get boxes really quickly and has definitely some good qualities. Can struggle a bit versus the really long-range brawlers in certain situations. Not great in every situation or every map, but is decent in pretty much all of them, or usable in pretty much all of them. Shelly, to me, is a brawler that's naturally good in Showdown, but just isn't very strong right now. So that's why she's at 11. Okay, and now at 10, we have what is, in my opinion, the king of getting consistently 4th, 5th, and 6th place, and that's Mortis. Mortis, not probably an amazing Showdown brawler, but he's really good at surviving. He's not very good at getting boxes, but he can run away from a lot of different situations, and you can somewhat easily get mid-range placements very consistently with Mortis. You can just keep running around. If you're able to get a lot of elixir, you can definitely win a Showdown, or if you're just lucky and able to manage staying alive a long time and finishing someone off who's at low health at the end, then you can win. But Mortis, to me, is all about surviving, and he does that really well in Showdown for the most part. And now at 9, we have Poco. Poco has a couple good qualities, able to shoot through boxes, has a ton of health, is very hard to kill. So Poco is not going to get betrayed that often, unlike some other brawlers. So that's probably one of the best attributes about Poco, is able to hit through boxes, so can force people away from boxes, get some damage on them, and chip away at the boxes. Does take a while to get the boxes sometimes, but is able to stay alive, which is, as I said, a really key attribute in Showdown. And that's why Poco's actually pretty decent in Showdown. And now at 8, we have a brawler who used to be pretty low in all of my Showdown rankings, but let's just say now he's explosive, and you don't want to mess with this guy, and that's Brock. Brock definitely actually pretty good in Showdown now, especially since the meta is a bit more long range. He matches up well versus those brawlers, as his rockets are now pretty easy to get hits with, and they deal a decent amount of damage. And he's actually not that bad at getting opening boxes and getting elixir. And especially with his super, Brock can be a force to be reckoned with, really open up the map and get you out of a lot of situations. He can deal damage quick, especially with that easy button. So he's definitely pretty good in Showdown now. I think people underrate him a bit, but I would definitely recommend using Brock some if you get the chance. At 7, we have Tara. Tara definitely a lot of good attributes in Showdown, able to hit through boxes, can force people away from boxes, get multiple boxes at once, does pretty decent damage, and her super can definitely help her win a lot of one-on-ones. And also the meta is good for Tara. Tara always better in a long-range meta, as Tara can deal with those brawlers a lot more easily, as she can just melt them with her normal attacks and with her super combined, unlike tanks. So Tara, good with the meta, a lot of good attributes, pretty good. At 6, we have my favorite little cactus. We have Spike. Spike definitely a strong brawler in a lot of different game modes, able to deal a good amount of damage, and his super is really strong and cannot be understated. Has a good effect on the area, can help him win a lot of situations. But the main thing is Spike's ability to shoot around corners, get a lot of chip shots, and able to build up his super fairly easily compared to a lot of other brawlers. So Spike definitely decent in Showdown. The main negative with Spike is his low health, as that can definitely hold him back sometimes, but since he can shoot around corners and deal decent damage, and with his super, he's pretty good in Showdown. At 5, we have the first thrower, we have Barley. Barley definitely got a good buff last time with a 20% speed increase to his projectile. So he's definitely pretty strong right now. Throwers are usually pretty good in Showdown as they're good on most all of the maps. So Barley's no exception in that regard. Not very good on Feast or Famine. But otherwise, he's pretty good in a lot of different ways. He's great with teams. He's good at getting multiple boxes at once. Like Spike, he has low health, so that can hold him back. But he's able to keep enemies at bay for the most part. I don't think he's really strong like these next 4 brawlers, but I still think he's pretty good in a lot of different situations. Alright, and now let's move into our top 4 brawlers in Showdown. And as I was saying, these are the ones that, in my opinion, are really strong right now. Alright, at number 4, we have Ricochet. Ricochet is a strong and hard to deal with brawler right now, able to deal a ton of damage, can get boxes really quickly, and once he gets those boxes, gets a couple elixir, all of a sudden he's out damaging his opponents by a lot, and he can do it from a distance, and he's able to hit around corners and get a lot of different shots in. So this helps him get a lot of damage in general, but it also helps him build up his super, and once he has that super, watch out. You don't want to be too close to him, as you never know if he's going to turn on you and use it on you. Ricochet, definitely strong in Showdown. Alright, at number 3, we have a similar brawler. We have Colt. Colt's a little bit better than Ricochet in my opinion, but it's definitely close. His shots are a little bit tighter together, so he can deal a little bit more damage more quickly. So to me, Colt's a little bit better, but they're really similar comparisons. He's definitely a strong brawler, so is Ricochet. You can't go wrong with either. Alright, and now we're into the top 2 brawlers in Showdown, and to me, these two are unquestionably the top 2, but I wasn't exactly sure who to have number 1. I think I'm okay with my choice. At number 2, I have Crow. Crow, really strong right now. In my opinion, he's a little bit broken. That's for a different video, but Crow, definitely strong. His jump is so good in Showdown, helps him escape from a lot of different situations if he's in too much trouble, or he can use it offensively and get an easy kill and attack them before they can even react to him, and he's spamming that auto aim button on whoever it is and dealing massive damage. So Crow, really strong, can get boxes pretty quickly, has that fast move speed. He's definitely really strong in Showdown. Alright, and now at number 1, the best brawler in Showdown, if you haven't figured it out, it's Dynamite. Dynamite is really strong right now, able to throw out his attacks so quickly, and then they deal a ton of damage. Able to throw over walls. As I said, throwers pretty much always good in Showdown. So Dynamite is, in my opinion, the best brawler in Showdown. Really good on all the maps except for Feast or Famine. And he's just so usable. Really good in teams and does a ton of damage. And once he gets a couple elixir, he's a force to be reckoned with, and he is going to be making people die very quickly. So Dynamite, my best brawler in Showdown. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think of my ranks. What would you do differently? What did you like? What didn't you? But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you later.